has expired. Mr. Carnahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank all of you here today. Secretary Clinton, you said this was one of the most complex foreign policy challenges you have ever seen. And Admiral Mullen, you said you've never seen an issue so thoughtfully and thoroughly reviewed. Well, I want to thank the President, all of you, the entire team in the administration for giving this issue the time and the thoroughness that our troops, our values, and certainly our security deserves. Secretary Clinton, this past month you were in Afghanistan. You delivered a sharp message to President Karzai about needing to clean up the corruption, to really address the needs of the Afghan people. What is it going to look like? What kind of benchmark should we be looking for in the weeks and months ahead to see if we're making progress on that front?
Well, Congressman Carnahan, there are some areas where we can actually measure the progress. For example, in education, there's been significant progress. The United States has been quite involved in moving from a school population of a little less than 1 million, nearly all of whom were boys, to a population of 7 million, 40% of whom are girls, and there's about 5 to 6 million more. So we're going to be able to measure that. In terms of agriculture, which we think is a key strategic imperative because it is the best way to raise incomes, to wean people from poppies, the United States and other allies have been contributing to better seeds, better fertilizer, working with a really quite competent and effective Minister of Agriculture. The Minister of Finance has begun to move against a lot of the petty corruption. It used to take, there are 1 million cars in Afghanistan. It took a month and a half to get a car registered, and you had to go through a lot of different hands to get there. The process has been streamlined. It's been not only cleaned up, but it's now benefiting the treasury of the country up to about tune of about $50 million a year. So there are specific areas where we can see with a transparent, accountable partnership, the progress being made. We are now certifying agencies. We're not going to put a penny of American assistance into any agency that is not certified. So I think that as we go through this, we will be submitting reports to this committee and other relevant committees demonstrating how our civilian assistance program, support for governance, the anti-corruption efforts we're undertaking are working, and what kind of expectations we have for them.
Thank you. And we also heard the talk about these new resources that can allow us to make a final push that's necessary to train the Afghans so we can transfer responsibility. I have big concerns about the training. We heard some of the same discussion in Iraq. I visited there in 2005. We heard some big claims about how quickly we were going to be able to train up the Iraqi troops and police. We were way off on those estimates in terms of quality, quantity, in terms of the time to train. What lessons have we learned from that? And what kind of measures should we be looking for to be sure we are getting the Afghan Army and police trained in the numbers that we need? And for Admiral Mullen and Secretary Gates.
I think that we have learned those lessons. We see similarities in the sense that the police are not coming nearly as quickly as the Army, for instance. That was the case in Iraq. We've really taken those lessons and used them to focus on what we need in Afghanistan. But it's a big challenge, and I indicated earlier that's a high-risk part of this strategy is training and equipping the Afghan security forces. That said, it's a good fighting force. We've had a considerable amount of progress on the Army. We're way behind on the police side. There are several programs in place to get at this, and I don't mean just brand new. And then the fundamental shift, as I said earlier, about partnering with them in the field, getting them off the bases so they're in the fight, in the villages, together with our coalition forces. We think that will accelerate the ability to transfer that responsibility.
And Secretary Gates?
Exactly what Admiral Mullen said. I think as he mentioned, we have changed the personnel, the leadership of the training program, and the key about the training that's important is the best part of the training is not the basic training where they learn how to march and learn how to shoot. It's when they partner with us in combat. And it not only teaches them the skills, what we saw in Iraq was that it gives them confidence. And the more confidence they have, the more ability they have to operate on their own.
Gentleman's time is expired.